Welcome to the Mind Body Podcast. I'm your host, Maria Angelova, and I'm here to challenge everything you have been told about aging and wellness. This podcast is for those who refuse to accept that growing old means growing unhealthy. Each week, I will bring you dynamic conversations with inspirational guests, sharing practical advice, insights, and motivation to live your life rebelliously as you age with grace and vitality. This is your time to embrace self-care, transformation, and an infectious spirit that says no to the conventional and yes to a vibrant, powerful life. Let's dive in and redefine what it means to live well. Hi, Rebels, and welcome to the Mind Body Podcast, your rebellious podcast with me, your host, Maria, where it is all about a strong body, calm mind, healing, and fully living. And today we have a special treat. We're going to talk all about golf. So all of you golfers, stay tuned. We have Janis Thornton, who is going to talk to us all about golf and making the golf game better. Janis is a golf fitness expert and owns an online personal training golf fitness studio. So Janis, welcome on board.
Thank you, Maria. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me today.
I am so excited because I have to tell you, a lot of what I do is so applicable to golf, and I work with golfers. And when we connected, I was like, oh, I know this is going to be a stage.
So yeah, I can't wait.
Before we dive into body and golf and all of that, let's get to know who Janis is. So give us 3 words that describe who you are and a little bit of a story behind each word.
And a story behind each word. So 3 words that describe me are compassionate, because I love helping people age backwards. I have been in the health and wellness industry for over 25, or actually over 35 years. Oh, that's so crazy. But and I love golf. So I want to help people well into their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s be able to play golf. And so I have a huge compassion for people, because as I get older, being in my mid 50s, I know the aches and pains and all that kind of stuff. And I just want to be able to help others. Another one is competitive. I love to play sports. I am competitive. I'm actually a 3-time senior club champion at my club. I love competition when it comes to golf, because I think it keeps you healthier, keeps you sharp, and it just helps keep you going. And then I'm determined. I don't like to give up on anything. And I want to be able to help others kind of grab that same mentality to just never give up and just stay determined in the things that you want to be able to do. So that way you can charge forward and really own your own life.
I love it. I love all of that. It sounds so rebellious. And
it is.
Based on the first point that you made, and it's aging backwards, because I am so on board with you on that. I tell people that unfortunately we have that stigma in society that as we age, it's okay to have pains and aches and to become less mobile and to just kind of give up on life, sadly. Yeah. And I definitely think, actually, as we age, I think you can definitely turn on that sparkle for life and make life much more fun. And especially if you're feeling good into your body and mind, there's no stopping you. So with that said, let's first talk about what took you. You used to be in healthcare before, and you used to be in the pharmaceutical industry. So you made the big pivot to go into what you do right now. What took you from, they're actually very different places in the way they approach body, mind, and spirit. So let's talk about that.
So I will say I spent 25 years working in sick care, and I have a master's in exercise physiology, and I emphasized in cardiac rehab. So I spent over 10 years working in cardiac rehab, and that's dealing with sick patients. And then I spent 15 years in the pharmaceutical industry. The pharmaceutical industry is there for sick people. They want you to be sick because that's how they make money. So for me, I went into my pharmaceutical job thinking, I believe that you should eat healthier and then exercise on a regular basis. 90% of illnesses are solved by that formula right there. And I didn't fit in very well with the pharmaceutical industry because I had that thought process. I truly wanted patients to be eating healthier and exercise. And when I asked doctors that question, How often are you prescribing eating healthy and exercise? I was told by numerous doctors that doesn't work. And for me, I'm like, that just, yeah, exactly. My eyes would raise up going, seriously, are you kidding me that that's how you think? So I had to get out of that industry because it didn't fit my beliefs. And that's when I could get into the personal training, get into the online personal training so I could help more people, because there's just so much that you can do. And it's not that, Maria, you know this, we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to be perfect in our eating. We don't have to be perfect in our exercise. As long as we're getting movement, we're making our bodies move around each and every day. That's what our bodies love and that's what our bodies need. And there's just so much we can do. But yeah, I had to get out of the pharmaceutical industry, get into the personal training so that way I could truly be in healthcare and truly help people the way that I feel like they should be helped.
Yeah. I do think there is, I don't know if it's COVID, but I do think there is raised awareness around the impact, even in the medical community, around lifestyle factors such as nutrition and movement and all of that. Even though I will tell you, like I just had somebody come from a consultation last week and we did an hour of just very basic stuff. She had shoulder pain and back pain. And I got a text the next day that said, oh my gosh, what did you do to me? My shoulder pain is gone. My back pain is gone. And she said, when I went to the doctor, because she's in her 70s, they wanted to give her injections. And all that I did is I corrected her movement, got some mobility in there, I didn't do anything magical. I wish I could tell you I had something magical, but all I did was work on her alignment and voila, right, it works. So I think it is so important for anybody listening. And that's why, that's one of the reasons I started this podcast, for people to understand that aches and pains, if your body is achy and painy, granted, you might have injuries, you might be aging. And yes, like you said, we don't have to be perfect. And yes, we start losing muscle mass, we start losing bone density, like all of this stuff is a natural process of aging, and it will start happening, right? Our fascia will start tightening, like all of that will happen, it's inevitable. However, there's so much we can do and be proactive about in how we age. And like you started and it said, aging backwards. I see that in my clients. I have clients who are in their 70s and they're moving today better than they did when they started 4 or 5 years ago. Right?
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm totally on board with you in terms of there is so much that we can do to keep our bodies strong, our minds also healthy, right? Because I do think what is huge for mental health as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Janis, let's talk about goals. Shall we get into goals?
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
No, you guys have to be watching the video so you can see us rubbing heads. But Janet, what would you say? Because I'll tell you, when I was thinking about the topics that we can discuss, I was thinking, I wonder in what you do, what are some of the basic things that you see people coming to you for? Like, do they do people come with a problem to you, or do they come with my swing is not good, I need my swing to be better? Or do they come with identified problems?
I'm going to say they come with identified problems because their swing usually needs to be better. However, it goes back to the very basics. They need better strength, they need better mobility, they need more flexibility, and they need balance. So those are the 4 key things to a golf swing. If you are lacking in one of those areas, then your golf swing can be affected. So you can easily improve mobility and flexibility. You can easily improve your balance regardless of your age. And I can vouch for, I've had clients in their 70s, they start doing balancing exercises, and it's quickly how our bodies adapt and can improve their balance. That's going to help your golf game. You give a woman who's in her 70s, 60s, and 70s who've never lifted weights before, you get her getting some strength in her upper body and in her legs, they will instantly tell you within a month, I'm hitting the ball farther down the fairway because they've gained some strength. And those are the big 4 factors that I feel like that when they come to me, that's what they need to work on. And that's what we really focus on, is just being able to strength, balance, flexibility, and mobility.
Yeah. Very similar to what you were saying. I would say One is posture, which goes along with everything that you've said, right? If you don't have proper strength, if you're slouching forward, if you're stiff and mobile, that's going to impact your posture. I would tell you, a lot of people don't have, forget about core strength. They don't even have core awareness. So to engage your core. And I'm like, oh man, if you do a spinal rotation without engaging your core, no wonder you're going to have back pain, right?
Yes. Well, and they get the low back pain because a lot of times they don't have thoracic rotation ability. So there's just so many people, and this is just, even if you don't play golf, if you are someone who sits at your desk all day or drives in a car all day, because when I was a pharmaceutical rep, I was in my car all the time. If you're in sales, you're probably in your car all the time. Or if you have a long commute, guess what? You're sitting in your car. Or we're looking at our devices all the time. We're looking down. Our thoracic spine doesn't get any rotation. And guess what? It's going to get stiff. Well, then that triggers, you know this, it triggers down to our low back, and then we get low back pain there. And when we can get that mobility in our thoracic spine, we take all the pressure off the low back, and then voila, you don't have low back pain, and throw in some hip mobility, and there you take away.
Yeah. The next thing I was going to say, you know, I get like, especially the poor men golfers with no hip mobility.
Oh, yes.
Like, well, how do you expect to rotate and hit that ball where your hips are pretty much frozen into where they are? And
well, you say that like they can't do a pelvic tilt. I've noticed a lot of men cannot do a standard pelvic tilt. Folks, you have to be able to pelvic tilt just in life and in your golf swing. And it will take away your low back pain.
You're going to laugh about this, Janis, but I actually tell my man, we're going to salsa today. And I'm like, we can get the hips moving. And, you know, you should see, I put the mirror and they're like, oh, they're like, my hips don't move like yours. And I'm like, right, we have to get them to move that way. And I'm like a chunk, you know, there's no mobility. But we have fun and we make it fun. And I got to tell you, when I start opening hips, the sound effects that come out of that, oh, I did a warm-up for a golfing tournament last year, and I gotta tell you, just on the warm-up, the sound effects that were coming from, oh, my knee, oh, my shoulders, I was like, whoo, there's a lot happening in here. Hey, Rebels. I want to take a quick moment to share something super exciting with you. If you've been feeling stuck, disconnected, or just know there is more to life than what you're experiencing, I have something special for you. I have created a powerful 6-step video series called Unleash Your Potential, an introduction to the Anelova Method. As a valued mind-body podcast listener, the series is my gift to you. In this series, I will guide you through the core elements of the Anelova Method, a unique approach that integrates movement, mindset, and mastery to help you align your body, mind, and life. You will learn practical techniques to improve your alignment, boost your core strength, and connect deeply to your inner self. Whether you're looking to enhance your physical health, gain mental clarity, or simply live more fully, these videos are designed to get you started on the path to your most vibrant self. And the best part? It's completely free. So if you're ready to break through barriers and unleash your full potential, head over to mindbodyexpert.com and get started today. Let's take this journey together, because you, my rebel, deserve nothing less than the extraordinary. So, Janis, let's see, we've identified the problem. I mean, and this is another important thing which I'm sure our golfer listeners can relate to. The golf move, it's a very sophisticated move, right? There is a lot into that move. What would you say, like, are some tips and tricks people can do that they can really work like from the comfort of their own home to improve to feel better? Forget about improving their swing, but to feel better when they golf.
I would say when you're at home, to just make sure that you are stretching, that you're doing mobility exercises, that you make sure before you play golf that you go do a warm-up before you get started. Hit the driving range. That pelvic tilt that we talked about, practice a pelvic tilt. I'm not kidding, because so many people can't do that. That's such a huge, important exercise. To be able to do side bends. There's a big side bend in our swing, and a lot of people cannot even do a proper side bend. But getting that mobility and getting off the couch. If you're watching TV, throw down a mat on the floor and do some stretches. Or before you go to bed, stand at your bedside and do stretches for 2 to 5 minutes even is going to help you sleep better, but then it's going to help work on getting that mobility and flexibility into your body. And then throw in the foam roller. I love the foam roller as well. It really should be your best friend. Even if you say, a lot of my older patients or clients will say, Janis, it's just too hard. But guess what? You can get different levels of hardness on a foam roller. So get a softer foam roller because it does help get out those aches and pains that we want to get rid of.
Yeah. And on the foam roller topic, a couple of thoughts pop to mind on the foam roller topic. One thing that I see when new clients come in, they really want to roll through really fast. And it's like, no, you have to go really slow, let those muscles relax. And they're like, but it hurts. It's like, yeah, you have to integrate that breath and really allow that tightness to dissipate. Just rolling front and back maniac, like a maniac, doesn't really do so much, right? But it's uncomfortable because it can be deep. Like you said, I have one foam roller, that's the monster foam roller with the big teeth, right? That thing can dig in. So you can find foam rollers with different density, and you can start with whatever works for you. And something else that you said, Janis, in terms of stretching and flexibility is, I think one other huge benefit from the work that I do through the Angelova Method is flexibility of the spine and being able to articulate the spine. So even when you talk about pelvic thrust, the traditional thrust, when you just lift your hips up and bring them down, the way I do the bridges is I articulate the spine one vertebrae at a time, up and down, so that it can create mobility into the entire spine, all the way, sacral, low, thoracic, like all the way up. And it feels really delicious onto the spine. And then that, of course, makes the spine more mobile, more stretchy, regardless of what you're doing, forward flexion or rotation or lateral, it moves better.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great tip because and it's hard to do at first if you're never practiced that. I know when I was taking a Pilates course, and I have to work on my spine mobility as well. And that was really hard for me to learn to go one vertebrae at a time. And I have to be warmed up to do it well. So listeners out there, don't feel like it's hard for you to do. It's okay that it's hard. You just have to practice and work at it. And it does get easier.
Yes, you have to. Yep. And it's just to that point, it's not something that's going to happen when you do it 4 or 5 times. This is something that you have to do recurringly, like repetitively for months and months and months to start getting some mobility into there. And you will find spots into the spine that will be really tight. Most of us who are sitting, like you said, thoracic spine, if we're sticking our butt out, it could be different spots that are not as mobile as we want them to be. And it takes time and practice to open it up, right? To create space there.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's worth it once you start getting it. It's definitely worth it.
Absolutely. And Janis, another one that pops to mind is the feet. Do you do a lot of work with feet?
So yeah, the feet are important when it comes to the golf swing for sure. And yeah, making sure that I like to have roll my feet over a ball to just massage my feet. And then I will do a hand massage on my feet as well. And just a lot of point and flex and ankle rotations because we need our ankles as well, just to make sure that you have the flexibility there. And some people might find, though, they start working on their feet, that they have a lot less pain in their knees and then into their hips. Everything almost starts in your feet. Podiatrists will tell you that they do. And, have good shoes and make sure that if you need orthotics, to have some orthotics in there, but just make sure you have good supportive shoes that you wear when you play golf and when you exercise, and actually what you wear throughout the day as well.
Okay. So Janis, if you were to give one tip, one piece of advice to anybody actually listening, not just golfers, what would that be? I do think actually what we're talking about, it absolutely applies to golf, but it literally applies to every single one of us because there is a lot of functional movement into what we're talking about. So it's not just golf related. But
to me, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to follow up the piece of advice.
The piece of advice I would give is to always keep moving. I have the luxury of playing with a lady who's in her 90s. She's turning 95 this year. And she doesn't hit the ball far, but she's just always down the middle. And I did ask her, I said, Jeannie, what is your secret at 95 years old? She goes, I eat healthier and I move every single day. She goes, don't think that I don't have aches and pains, because I do. She goes, I'm 95. However, she goes, my secret is that I've always just kept moving and keep trying. And I think that's just something, she's a huge inspiration to me, to a lot of us at the club. And I feel like that's just something that we should always be doing. It doesn't have to be that you're in the gym every single day. And as long as you find activities that you love to do and movements that make your body happy and make you feel 100% and like that brings that light to you, that's what you want to do.
Yeah. I was thinking actually yesterday about my mom. My mom lives with us, and she's actually 75, and she is like a bullet. She's constantly up and down the stairs and around, and she is so active. And I love that about her, because I completely agree with you that, especially for the older folks, the minute you stop moving is, that's the minute everything starts stiffening up. That's the minute you start becoming weaker. That's how your balance and stability start going off and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely agree with you. And I'll tell you, I have seen x-rays of spines that are in really horrible shape. And the only reason the person feels good is because they're staying active. Like if that was somebody who is sitting, they might be, close to a wheelchair or immobilized. So to your point, the importance of move, find what you do and just do it. Go for a walk. Walking is one of the most underrated exercises that we can do. Walk, swim, dance, golf, whatever, do Pilates, whatever your thing is, just don't stop moving. I'm 100% with you, that Janis.
Absolutely, Maria. Love it.
Yeah. All right, Janis, I have to ask you, what is your definition of rebellious?
Okay, so I thought about this, and for me, it's not following the norm. Too many people just like to do what everyone else is doing. And to me, it's be that different person. Be that person who does step out to the side and does things a little bit differently. Because when you're a little bit rebellious, you're going to reach your goals that you want to reach because you're not following everybody else.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, from me personally, stepping and doing something differently has resulted not in just me changing my life, but honestly impacting the life of so many in positive way, which I absolutely love. And I have really connected to my purpose by stepping outside of the comfort zone and the norm. So
Nice.
Wholeheartedly, once again, agree with you, Janis. All right, Janis, where can if people have questions for you, if they would like to reach for you, you have an online program. So I'm guessing you work with people all over the US, maybe even internationally. Where can people get more info on the adventures and activities that you offer?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn with Janis Thornton, or go to jtfitnessandgolf.com. I have a free golf ebook that you can download. And then I have a lot of golf exercises that you can see on my website, and just lots of information. If you want to contact me, there's a contact form. So there's a lot of things on jtfitnessandgolf.com.
Yes, and we'll definitely put those links into the description of the episode. So definitely let us know if you have any questions, golf related or not, anything related to body and movement. Janis, I appreciate you being here with us. Thank you so much. I wish you continued success. Rebels, do let us know what questions you have. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we may help you stay rebellious. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us on the Mind Body Podcast, where we explore the power of living authentically and rebelliously. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow rebellious soul who would love to hear what we share as much as you do. Stay strong, stay calm, and most importantly, stay rebellious. Until next time, rebellious souls, keep living fully. Your journey is just beginning.